the late 90s, you guys knew this one was coming. It's really between two guys. For me, it's Steve Austin. I can't say anything about Stone Cold that hasn't already been said. It's freaking Stone Cold. Nobody in wrestling has ever got pops like he has. Nobody held professional wrestling in a vice grip, even though it was unfortunately pretty short because he got injured and he famously took his ball and went home, as the saying goes. It was thanks to Steve Austin's cult of personality in pro wrestling. People would wait entire shows. They would save Steve Austin for like the last 2 minutes of any show just so they can go out on a positive reaction, because they knew no matter what was going on, good or bad, the second that glass shatters and Stone Cold Steve Austin runs down or trots down to the ramp, you've had a good show. The crowd is shattering decibel levels. He was so fun to listen to on the mic, so compelling. And of course, in the ring, he was great as well. We get so wrapped up in his personality and his promos that we forget that dude was great in the ring too. Don't get that wrong. He had such intensity. He was great at selling. He was great at dishing out offense. This is probably the most obvious one. Just missed, you probably would have guessed it, The Rock. You could say a lot of the same things about The Rock as you can about Steve Austin. But if we're just talking about the late 90s in isolation, and you are forced to compare the two, if you force me to say just who was bigger at the time, it was ever so slightly Steve Austin, at least in my view. For women, I'd say Asia Kong. Now, a lot of the big promotions in Japanese women's wrestling at this time were starting to decline, but Asia Kong kept it going. She played her role so magnificently at all times. Just a monster heel that no one knew what to do with. Absolutely terrifying for any opponent, and she overcame a lot as a mixed race wrestler in Japan at the time. And she shattered a lot of expectations in terms of gender expectations, racial expectations. She was a pioneer in a lot, especially at a time where a lot of other popular promotions were kind of going in the opposite direction looks-wise. And as we know, really the one bad thing about the Attitude Era was how it kind of tossed aside women's wrestling. And even though they were still doing great things in Japan, the promotions were just rife with infighting and corruption and financial difficulties, which forced them to have to rebuild in the 2000s.